And they said, what need we of any further witnesses? But first Matthew and Mark. Then the high priest rent his clothes. Matthew. Then the high priest rent his clothes. So they fully understand what he's claiming to be. God. Then the high priest rent his clothes. And says, Matthew's saying, Luke, and they said. But it's just the high priest that is speaking now. What need have we of any further witnesses? So instead of they said, what need have we of any further witnesses? I'm going to have it just the high priest. I'm going to use said, though. And as well. And said. And is also in Mark. So Mark and Luke. Just said from Luke. Matthew, he has spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Mark, what need we any further witnesses? And then, you have heard the blasphemy. What think you? Behold, now you have heard his... Okay, so Matthew has blasphemy mentioned twice. So, I think I'll do that. I'll have it twice. Mark only has it mentioned once. Not the first time, but the second time is mentioned. And Luke only has, what need have we of any further witnesses? For we ourselves have heard of his own mouth. No mention of blasphemy. So I'll put Matthew first. He has spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Mark. What need we any further? What further need, or what need we any further? Mark and Luke agree. What need we any further? Of. Matthew is more wordy. What further need have we of witnesses? I'm just going to go with the majority witness. Mark and Luke. What need have we? So what need is all three. We. Any is only Mark and Luke. Further witnesses is all three again. Matthew does have of witnesses, but it wouldn't make sense in this sentence structure for Mark and Luke. I could add Matthew, what need have we of witnesses? Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll add the extra words from Matthew, but it's still pretty much the sentence structure from Mark and Luke. Have added from Matthew. Have we, and then I will have of added from Matthew as well. Of any further witnesses. Luke is witness. All three for witness, but then the added yes will be only from Matthew and Mark. The next part of the high priest's statement, behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. Mark, you have heard the blasphemy. Luke, for we ourselves have heard of his own mouth. Matthew and Mark both have him saying, you have heard. Only Luke says, we have heard. I'm thinking of leaving that and saving it for the next trial, their condemnation in the morning. They ask him, are you the Christ? He says, if I tell you, you will not believe. And if I also ask you, you will not answer me nor let me go. Because now he knows they're just seeking for him to admit that he is king, or Messiah, meaning king, so that they can accuse him of treason before Pilate. And maybe that would be a good place for them to say, it doesn't matter if he doesn't answer us. We ourselves have heard of his own mouth. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to save this. We have heard. Then they bring him. Behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. Or you have heard the blasphemy. I'll just begin with behold from Matthew. Behold, now you have heard. That's both. His blasphemy from Matthew, or the blasphemy. They're going to go with his blasphemy. They're trying to kill him, so his blasphemy is what matters, not just the fact that blasphemy was spoken. What think you? What think you? Both. What think you? Question mark. They answered and said, he is guilty of death. Mark, and they all condemned him to be guilty of death. Or maybe I should have, they answered and said, he is guilty of death. And they all condemned him. Maybe I should save of death, have they all answered and said, he is guilty, then, and they all condemned him to death. I'll put the guilty earlier where Matthew has it, and then the mention of death where Mark has it. Yeah. So first, they said he's guilty. You gotta find if he's guilty first. Then if he's guilty, you pick the punishment. And they all condemned him to death.